guys, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, welcome, and if you're an OG, oldie but a goodie, then thank you so much for coming back to another video. Okay, so as you can tell by the title, today I am filming my career journey, pretty much my whole educational journey from nursing all the way till now, which is an MSN. So I get this question a lot, pretty much anytime I do like Q&As on Instagram, and even like in my comment section. A lot of people just want to know, like, you know, how did you get to where you're at now? Like, what kind of classes did you take? You know, as we all know that nursing journeys are so versatile. I feel like you can ask any nurse or any, you know, nurse practitioner or whatever it may be, like their education journeys are so different because there are so many different routes that you can take to kind of get to whatever your end goal within the field is. Okay, so let's just start from high school, okay, because I get this question all the time. A lot of my younger followers want to know, you know, what can they do while they're in high school to kind of better prepare themselves for a career as a nurse? And that is one question that I literally see all the time, like in my live videos, in my Q&As and everything. Like, people just want to know, like, what do I do in high school? Like, is there anything I can do to get ready? Really, for me, high school was just regular. I did not take any special classes or like special kind of credits. I didn't even take AP classes. So I just took my regular classes to get my high school diploma. So just the regular electives, regular, you know, high school credits. I didn't take anything special, you guys. I wasn't like an AP student or anything of that sort. I just took my regular high school classes. I just made sure that I was doing well in those classes. I think that that's just my biggest advice that I can give for high school students. It's pretty much is just to do good in high school so that you can graduate with, you know, a good GPA, because obviously GPA is like, you guys are gonna keep hearing me say like GPA and GPA in this video, because let's just be real, GPA is important in any college journey. Like, you just want to have a good, you know, just make good grades. So yeah, when I was in high school, I just made sure that I did really well in my science classes. That's the next piece of advice that I want to give to high school students, is just to focus on the sciences. So, you know, biology, chemistry, I don't know, I don't really even remember like what sciences are required, like, you know, for every high school, but just do well in those. If you want to take AP classes, then by all means go ahead. But I felt like AP was just kind of, I don't want to say a waste, but it was just kind of like I didn't really need it, because I knew that in the end I was still going to take college classes in college. So I didn't want to start stressing myself out already in high school, because I knew like I had a long college journey ahead of me. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take regular high school classes, and then I'll worry about college credits when I get to college. So yeah, that was it for high school. Now, I started off my actual nursing journey, or I guess you can say my college journey. I actually began as a pre-med major. So I started as a pre-med major. I did 2 years as pre-med. So freshman and sophomore year, I did at a community college. Now, that's another key point. So I did start off in a community college just for my prerequisites. So as a pre-med major, I was just taking like the regular science classes, pretty much just everything that, you know, you need for most like healthcare or like medicine type majors. So anatomy, physiology, microchemistry, English, algebra, statistics, like all of those basic classes that pretty much like you're gonna have to get through, which, you know, you can take different directions, but those classes I feel like everybody ends up having to take. When you first enter college, you're not really taking classes that are like necessarily for like what you want your end degree to be in. You're just taking overall prerequisites. I did freshman and sophomore year at a community college, and that was literally the best decision ever. If you are in high school or early college, I definitely recommend for you guys to do your prereqs in a 2-year school if you're able to, because for me it was a lot more affordable. I wasn't spending unnecessary money on tuition. I was close to home. Like, literally my campus was like right around the corner from my house. It was within my same city. I wasn't the type to want to live on campus or do anything of that sort or be a commuter. And none of that. Like, none of that stuff attracted me. I just wanted to get my schooling done the easiest and quickest way possible. So I did community college. I basically did all my prereqs, and then in sophomore year I decided to change my major into nursing. So initially when I first started college, I was gonna do like a bachelor's in nursing and then go to medical school. Now after I finished my bachelor's degree, I kind of decided like, okay, where do I go from now? Like, do I go to grad school to get a master's in nursing? Do I go to medical school? Do I go to anesthesia school? Like, I had all of these different options. So that's why I don't really want to confuse you guys, because in the beginning, like I said, I switched from pre-med to nursing because I wanted a nursing degree. Like, I didn't want a pre-med, a bachelor's in pre-med, or like a bachelor's in biology. And I'm not trying to turn people away from that major. My cousin actually, she's a PA student now, and she had a bachelor's in biology, but that's not something that I wanted. Like, I wanted a degree that I could work with and that I could like use, you know what I mean, like milk it and actually get money out of, and not just have like a science degree and then I had to like, you know, go to medical school, or I had like more limited options. So yeah, this was my thinking. Like, you know, at sophomore year I was like, you know what, I want a nursing degree. I want to do nursing clinicals. Like, I want to actually be in a hospital, experience all these things before I even decide like if I want to be a doctor and all that stuff. So yeah, sophomore year I transferred into a 4-year school, into a nursing program. So pretty much all my pre-med prerequisites, like, you know, like I said, the chemistries, the sciences, the anatomies, all that stuff were basically prerequisites into the nursing program. Now, my sophomore year, I had already had a checklist of what were the prereqs for that specific nursing school. So I just made sure that, you know, I had all the prereqs, and then I just applied, and boom, like, I just went straight into nursing school. I had a great GPA. I went straight into the program. There was no wait list, nothing. So this goes back to my point on GPA. If you have a good GPA, you can literally like make more moves within the education system, because you're just gonna go right in. Like, most schools, the first thing that they look at is your GPA. So yeah, I ended up, you know, finishing nursing school. I got a BSN from a 4-year school, and it took me 4.5 years, just because I did have that one extra semester where, you know, I had to just take extra little classes to get into nursing school. So pretty much I had no delays. It didn't, you know, derail me or cause extra time. I literally got my bachelor's degree in 4.5 years, all in between the time that I was pre-med and transferring and doing all that stuff. No delays, you guys. Literally went straight through and got my BSN. Okay, so now we're at the point where I have my BSN. So this is December of 2015. So right after getting my BSN, of course, the first thing that I wanted to do is obviously work as a nurse. Like, you know, I had this degree. I was gonna make money off of it. You know, I wanted to dabble into the nursing field to make sure it was something I was gonna like. I wanted to, you know, be in that hospital environment and really figure out what was my next route. Because so at the point when I finished my BSN, I still had considered medical school. Like, it was still in the back of my mind, and I was at that point where I could almost sit for the MCAT. Like, I just had to take some extra science classes, and then I'd be able to sit for the MCAT and then apply to medical school if that, you know, that was one of my choices. Now, of course, I had NP as one of my choices, and then I also had CRNA as one of my options. Yeah, I went and worked in the ICU. So I definitely wanted to do ICU because it was critical care. It was going to give me experience in case I wanted to do CRNA, because for CRNA you do need at least a year of ICU RN experience. Not only that, but, you know, I was working alongside doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, so I got to see different fields, and that helped me make my decision on, okay, where am I going with this? Because I knew for sure I was gonna get some type of higher education. I've always wanted at least a master's degree, so I knew, like, right off the bat, like literally since freshman year, that I knew like this was gonna be my route. After a few months of working as an ICU nurse and, you know, making my pros and cons list, like med school versus MP, like I was just really doing my research and really trying to narrow down, you know, what was going to be the best option for me. And yeah, that is where I chose that the MSN route was just going to be the best route for me. I didn't want to do the DMP, I didn't want to do med school, and I didn't want to do CRNA. I actually had shadowed a CRNA, so that was out of the picture. Like, I did not like that. Yeah, since BSN school, I already had fallen in love with like the nursing fields. I liked how nursing was a lot more holistic in aspects of like medical treatment, and then I also liked that it was gonna give me time, and it was like the perfect balance for me for like medicine and business, because I always wanted to get into business like that. I definitely always had that in my mind, like I was gonna start a business. So that is kind of what led me into choosing the nurse practitioner route, because I felt like it would be the most flexible for me. Another question that I get asked all the time is how much RN experience I had and all of that situation. So when I applied, there's like 3 different steps. So at the time that I applied, meaning I submitted my application to the school, I had 6 months of RN experience. By the time that my application was approved and I started NP school, I had almost a year of RN experience. And then by the time that I graduated NP school, which was this past May, at that point I had almost 3 years of nursing experience, all in between the time like that I applied, that I did the NP program, and that I graduated. So that was kind of the timelines. A lot of people always ask like how much experience do you have, and all of that depends down onto the school. You want to try to balance out your application, and the areas that you're weak in, you kind of have to make up for it in other ways. So for example, with RN experience, my application was weak because I only had 6 months, but I had a high GPA, so that helped, boost up my chances of getting accepted into NP school. Yeah, that was kind of the timeline. Like I said, I applied at 6 months, then I started NP school in January of 2017, and then I graduated in May of 2019, which was just a few months ago. So yeah, that was kind of just the whole journey from like literally graduating high school to where I'm at now. The whole entire journey took me 7.5 years. So I did not have much delays. Like I said, I had my BSN in 4.5 years. I did take 1 year in between like BSN and MSN because I was working as a nurse. I was applying for NPs. So yeah, I just took 1 year in between, and then boom, I did my master's degree in 2.5 years, and now we're done with school. So yeah, you guys, that was pretty much my whole educational journey from like RN, BSN to MSN. That was the route that I chose to take. Like I said, with nursing degrees, there are so many different routes. You can ask every nurse and they probably have a whole different route. I know you can do LPN to RN, you can do ADN to BSN, you can do BSN to DMP. Like there are different routes, so you kind of have to figure out like what's going to be the best route for you. But yeah, you guys, that is it for this video. I hope that this was a little bit helpful for any of you guys that may be trying to figure out what is going to be the best route for you guys to take. Like I said, that was just my personal journey. A lot of people have very different journeys. You may have different beginnings back to high school and college, and so there are a lot of different nursing routes that you can take to achieve whatever degree that you want in this field. So yeah, with all that being said, I do have my coaching calls that I will be starting probably next month. I'm still my schedule is still pretty packed. I have been traveling a lot, so I haven't been able to start the coaching calls, but when I do start the coaching calls, that is more of like a one-on-one where I can help you guys kind of figure out what route to take, because I know I get a lot of questions and it's just very hard to help and answer those questions when I don't know your whole entire educational journey, because as you guys can see, it gets very complicated along the way. So if you do want some more assistance and guidance, then yeah, you guys can check out my website where I do the one-on-one calls, and we can literally get down to like looking at your transcripts, looking at your GPAs, what's going to be the best route for you. But yeah, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any other uploads, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.